What's up, guys? I'm BTC. Season 3 of the Overwatch Battle Pass is here, and while the game definitely still has some issues, there have also been some decent improvements to the game through the Battle Pass, through the in-store currency, and the hero balance, as well as some other things with the game. And just because it's not perfect doesn't mean we can't give credit where it's due for some of these improvements. At the same time, I'm not going to be like certain individuals and go, "Oh my god, it's amazing, it's the best ever," and oh, these characters have gotten huge buffs, and no, we're not doing that. I'm not going to shill for Blizzard. There are other channels who will do that for me. Also, I'm not going to spend 30 minutes going over each and every tiny little detail. I'm just going to give a brief overview of the high points and the low points that have been included with the Season 3 of the Battle Pass. So let's start with that. The first thing to point out is something that all of you are already well aware of, and that is you can get credits for some of the reward levels. Now, it's important to note these are legacy credits, these are not coins. The difference being, and a general rule, anything from the previous season and before you can use legacy credits on. Anything from the current season and anything that's been released within the last month or so, you have to use the coins, which means that you have to give Blizzard money. Now, I still think that these skins are overpriced, but that does seem to be a fair compromise. If you want it right now, then you give Blizzard a little bit of money, and if you don't mind waiting maybe a month or two or until the next Battle Pass, then you can do that, and you can use your legacy credits, and you can get it, for free from just having played the game. And you do get, I believe it's 1,500 of these credits for the entire duration of the Battle Pass, which is enough for one legendary skin. Now, another thing about this Battle Pass is it does have some pretty nice stuff in it later on, right? Like this Junkrat skin is pretty awesome. I think the Sigma skin is also pretty neat. I mean, especially because when you look at it, it doesn't, like the background doesn't move in the, the armor and whatnot. It stays in a fixed position regardless of which way he turns, and that's really weird to look at. I mean, I think it's kind of cool of a skin. The Mythic, I'm not really super impressed. I mean, it's got a lot of detail, but honestly, I think the Junkrat skin is better than the Mythic. There are some things in here that are, decent. You got, some of the sprays and some of the little doodads and weapon hangers and stuff that are okay. But overall, this Battle Pass feels pretty lackluster. I mean, even with the addition of the credits, it still feels lackluster compared to the previous two Battle Passes for the simple reason that there's no new character, right? Instead, you get two legendary skins. This one's not bad. This one, I don't really care for that one. They're not bad, but if you don't use those characters, then you don't have any huge incentive to get the Battle Pass right away. And again, you have Battle Passes that offer instant access to a new character versus Battle Passes that just have, a legendary skin for a character you don't even like to play. There's a pretty big difference between those two things. So, again, I don't know. I think they could do some more to improve the rewards. I think splitting it into two different tiers, like having a premium row and a free row would be really good. A lot of different Battle Passes do that sort of thing. And every single time you level up, you get something. Doesn't have to be anything amazing. It doesn't have to be a huge amount. You could just be like 10, it could be 10 legacy credits, right? It could be 20 legacy credits. It could be some spray or a voice line or something, right? It doesn't need to be anything amazing, but the fact that you level up, nope, you don't get anything. Level up, 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 you don't get. You know what I mean? It's like every single time, like, oh yeah, I leveled up and I don't get anything. And again, a lot of other games have already solved this by having two different rows. You have the premium row and you have the free row. And again, the free row is not going to have the best stuff, but hey, at least it's something. It's a little thing like, hey, you leveled up. Here's, a little bit of stuff. And I think that would be a lot better for the Battle Pass than what it currently has. I mean, again, it's better. Their Battle Pass is improved. It's much better than it was in Season 1 and Season 2. Well, kind of with the exception of the no new character thing. But at the same time, it's still the Overwatch Battle Pass, let's be real here, there are improvements, but at the same time, it is still one of the worst Battle Passes in all of gaming. So, credit for the improvements, but let's still be real. Something else to point out about the prices for some of those legendary skins and some of the items. If we look at, for example, Mercy, you can see that the older mage skin, which is a legendary, costs 1,500. However, the newly released Owl Guardian skin is 1,000 coins, and that's because it was just recently released, so you have to spend real money for it. So you got 1,500 for the old legendaries. However, there does seem to be a kind of grace period for that as well, because you can see here that Ramatra's legendary skin, which has been out for several months, this is 1,900 of the credits. Now, I don't know if this is just an oversight or if this was done on purpose, but it's clear that some of the newer skins, even when they get changed over from the coin system to the legacy credit system, they're going to be a little bit more pricey than the old stuff. So just keep that in mind. There are quite a few other changes to the game, and again, I'm not going to go through each and every thing. This is not going to be a 30-minute video. Just want to cover the high points and low points. First is the new map, Antarctic Peninsula. It looks pretty nice. I haven't gotten a chance to play on it yet, but hey, at least it's not another push map. There's been some general updates to the game, you know, the credits, blah, blah, blah. We already covered all that. Workshop is back. That's nice. They have made a whole bunch of balance changes. Again, I'm not going to go through each and every one of these. However, I do want to point out a couple of them. And the first thing is that Ramatra is now not able to have his ultimate last forever. They've made it so that it can last for a maximum of 20 seconds, which I think is perfectly fair. They've made a bunch of changes to Reinhardt, and I don't think that these are going to have the effects that they wanted to. They wanted to make it so that the character is actually, you know, competitive with the other characters in the tank role, except that's probably not going to happen. And the changes they've made here, I've seen some people say, oh my, these are amazing. These are the huge change. No, they're not. No, they're not. These are not massive buffs to the character. These are some decent things. Like, for example, the Fire Strike, damage increased from 90 to 100. I saw a whole bunch of people talking about this. Well, now Reinhardt can one-hit squishies with Baptiste's amplification matrix. You can one-hit him again because it doubles the damage. Yeah, that's all great. Yeah, so when Baptiste uses his amp matrix, you know, once every 2.5, 3 minutes, you can get a one-hit on enemies. Wow, amazing. That is amazing. This is so good. Once every 3 minutes, you can maybe get some one-hits. Congrats. That is not the huge buff that you think it is. The charge cooldown, whatever. I mean, that's okay. Some of the other stuff is fine. They nerfed the Earth Shatter, and I don't know why. See, here's the main problem with Reinhardt, right? The biggest problem with Reinhardt is that he is one of the only characters in the tank category that is actually a tank. Almost all of the other characters in the tank role aren't tanks. They're just fat DPS. They have a bunch of health, and they do a lot of damage. And oftentimes, you can see these tank characters doing more damage than the actual DPS. And that's the problem. Reinhardt he's still a tank from Overwatch 1, while all the other characters have been changed into fat DPS bruisers for Overwatch 2, and Reinhardt just can't compete. They've, made a change to Roadhog after the nerfs that they gave him before. I guess we're not getting the more significant reworks that we're getting. They're still supposed to rework Roadhog, but that's not going to happen apparently till next season. They did give him a little bit of a buff with his ultimate. Wow, whatever. So they made a bunch of other changes here. Now, the other character that I want to specifically talk about is going to be Mercy, because they made some changes with her. They nerfed the Guardian Angel, so she's not going to have as much mobility as she did before, and now she's also going to move a little bit slower on some of those high jumps and whatnot. And that's fine, because I think she probably had a little too much on the mobility side. And they've now made it so that her healing is different. So instead of healing 55 all the time, it's now going to be 45 when the characters are above half health. And now when they're below half health, they get a 50% boost, which I think is something like, 67.5 or something in that range. So you're going to heal more when the character is more heavily injured, and I think that's perfectly fine. They changed the passive, they got rid of it, which was basically just a double up of the healer passive anyways. So the healers all have a role passive that they would start healing themselves automatically when they weren't taking damage, and Mercy had that already, so it was just twice as fast, and It was kind of redundant. But now she has it where she heals herself while she's healing the other. So if you're healing a teammate, then you can heal yourself at the same time. So you can actually get healed while you're taking damage. So I think that actually does do quite a bit. However, there's still another big problem with this character in that she is just way too simple of a character. There's not a lot going on here. You don't have to do too much with this character. And one of your abilities you only use once every 30 or so seconds, right? Like, it's basically a mini ultimate, which her resurrect. And I think there's a fundamental problem with how the character is currently designed. I don't think it worked in Overwatch 1, and it definitely doesn't work in Overwatch 2. Especially considering the fact that they have been lowering the ult charge requirement for almost all the characters. They now have a lower ultimate charge in order to use their ultimate. They can now use their regular ultimate more often, and yet Mercy has a mini ultimate that, like, I don't know. It just, the character needs to be redesigned. She just doesn't work in Overwatch 2. It's a boring character. You need to have more functionality. Like, there needs to be more stuff that you can actually do, more buttons that you can press instead of just holding left click for a while and then quickly holding right click, and that's it. Like, it's they need to add more to the character. Lastly, let's take a quick look at the control map Antarctica. This is the brand new map that just got added. As I mentioned, I do like how it looks. I mean, some of this is just really nice looking, just atmospherically. And the ice cave in particular, I think that one's my favorite. This one, I don't know what this is supposed to be. Maybe some sort of power facility or something. I think that's kind of what it's supposed to, or maybe like a drilling thing. I think that's what that's supposed to be. Maybe the drilling for the cores or whatever. I don't know. But I do like how it has a little ramp there, and you've got a very kind of realistic, it feels nice. I like the way this map looks. I haven't gotten a chance to actually play it yet. I'm going to try to do that right after I'm done making this video. But I have a feeling that a lot of this is probably not even going to get seen because of the way that the maps are designed for control point. Like, you can just run here, run over here, and then you go right to the control point. And there's almost no reason to take the long way around on the side here. So you miss a big chunk of the area. And this isn't unique to Antarctica, to this control map either. Let me reset it, see if I can get one of the other maps. Sometimes you can reset this 20 times and still get the same map over and over again. And this is the ship. Okay, good. So this is the other one. And, you know, like I was saying, some of the control maps, I think they just make them way too big. The control maps are too big, and there are big sections of the maps that just never get used. They never get seen, and I don't know why they do that. I think they could... There's so much better use that they could have for some of those areas and whatnot. And little fishing hole right there. And I don't know why they have so much wasted space. Like, so for this example, this is the ship. Now, you can go this way, and if you play Winston or something, you could probably just jump right over here, and boom, you're right at the control point. So that's the fast way, right? And then you have this other path where you can go this way, and you can go up and into the ship, and it's cool. You go by the engines and stuff. There's a large med pack that people are probably going to still use. But then you come out here, and you have the control point. But again, like, why would you take the long way around? So you have all this extra map. Let's see if we can get the ice cave, because that one's the best one. And this is the third part of the map, the ice cave. It took me about 11 tries to restart the lobby to get this one finally. But I like this one the best. I think it has a really eerie feeling to it. And I don't know if I said this already, but it does remind me of the movie The Thing. I don't know if the developers did that on purpose. But it looks really nice. And also the control point itself has a lot more dynamic stuff to it, right? So it's not just a square on the ground. You've got this overhang part right here. You've got the top level. You've got all the stairs and everything right around it. So there's more strategy and everything that's involved in trying to capture this rather than having it just be, you know, square on the ground. Now, unfortunately, like I mentioned with the other control maps, there's a lot of this map that you're just not going to see because, you know, you take the straight path to the control point instead of the scenic route. You have all this cool stuff over here, and then, you know, the eerie feeling with the edge and everything. But there's almost no reason to ever come over here. I mean, there is a large health pack here, and we've got a jump pad. So people who are over here and they're fighting, you know, they might just take a quick run over here to get the health pack. But for the most part, there's no reason to be on this side of the map, like this section, and it just seems like a waste. But other than that, the map, I think that's just an overall general problem with the control maps. But other than that, the map itself looks really cool. So there you go, guys. That is a bunch of the high points and low points of the most recent patch. What do you guys think? Let me know down below.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.